You're listening to the audio production of The Stories We Tell. Every piece of your story matters, by Joanna Gaines, published by Harper Select, and read by the author.
The Stories We Tell by Joanna Gaines. Chapter 1. A Story to Tell. The first book I wrote, no one will ever read. I was a senior in college and a broadcast journalism major, so it wasn't entirely unusual that I would take up a writing project. But this book wasn't meant for the masses. It was just for me and just for that season. It was the summer of 2000, and I'd lined up a pretty decent internship at CBS News in New York City. It was my first time living away from home, and in addition to being a nervous wreck, I was realizing quickly that the world of television news wasn't for me. Most days, I'd leave my internship feeling uncertain or just plain homesick. I couldn't make sense of what I wanted for my future, yet as I walked those big city streets, I came upon parts of myself I hadn't been looking for. I grew up in Rose Hill, Kansas, a small town outside Wichita. As a little girl who happened to be half Korean, shy, and a little bit self-conscious, I was teased in the same ways a lot of kids get teased at school. There were certain parts of me that anyone could see, parts of my story you could glean from the surface of my skin. I looked different from all the other kids, for one thing, but I tried my best to fit in, acting as though I didn't get their jokes about my slanted eyes or hear their whispers when I'd opt for rice instead of fries in the cafeteria line. I learned quickly that there were parts of me that could draw attention I wasn't interested in, but that was only at school. At home, I was the proud daughter of a beautiful Korean woman. Here's the short version of a very complicated yet beautiful love story. My mom met my dad in Korea in 1971. He'd been drafted in the lottery to serve in the Vietnam War in '69. My dad was stationed in Seoul when he met my mother at a party one weekend. They fell in love, and when my dad returned to the States, they wrote letters back and forth, both of them having to use a translator to understand the other's written language. A year later, my father mailed my mom a plane ticket with a note attached that said, "Will you marry me? If you say no, will you at least mail the ticket back?" A few months later, my mom landed in San Francisco, California, where she married my dad at the Justice of the Peace. She didn't know any English or anyone else. She was 19. She figured out quickly, though, how to conform to the culture in Kansas. My dad always talks about how fiercely my mom worked to learn the culture and the language. She picked up some American ways of living, how other women dressed and interacted, as well as their mannerisms. There were not a lot of other mixed-race families.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?